Hey guys, and welcome to our NerdStorm Fear the Walking Dead review. Today we're reviewing Not Fade Away. And so today we're going to talk about Fear the Walking Dead. And I thought this episode was really interesting. It got things moving a little bit more there at the end. It was kind of a slow episode up until the end. But you know what? I'm actually enjoying the slow pace, kind of just easing into it. It's not like The Walking Dead where all of a sudden there was walkers everywhere and we just had to adjust to it. This time we're actually like learning about them slowly and learning how people are reacting to them from the beginning. And I find that really interesting. A lot more interesting than just bam, being in The Walking Dead. In fact, when I started watching The Walking Dead, I decided that, you know, this was a great show, and I love The Walking Dead, don't get me wrong. But I wanted to see before, I wanted to see how it all happened, and now I'm really enjoying this Fear the Walking Dead. So let's get into it. I have 10 points about Fear the Walking Dead. Let's go. Every time I turn on a new episode of Fear the Walking Dead, it starts out way different than the one before. In fact, all of them seem to be quite a bit different. It's like they're setting a new tone each episode. And this one in particular seemed like everybody was getting comfortable with the military being there and taking care of things. And the only thing that kind of felt amiss was that people were starting to like go against the military. They're like, what's going on? We want to know, and they're not telling them. But other than that, everybody seemed like comfortable with just being saved by the military. Christopher sees a flash of light, like someone's reflecting a light up at him from a far off distance. And as they know, they're not supposed to go outside of the wall or whatever it is. But he sees that and he's like, what's going on? I feel like there's someone there trying to talk to me. And so he tries to signal him back and stuff. And Travis just doesn't want to listen. He's like, you know what? We're taking care of ourselves. Forget them. It doesn't matter. He doesn't really believe there's anybody out there in the first place. So he's like, we're fine. Don't worry about it. The interesting thing is that Christopher, he just kind of needs attention, I think. So he goes to Maddie, which is an interesting mixture because his mom's off helping people, be healthy and things. And all of a sudden he's like, hey, Maddie, I saw this thing. She's like, hey, you need to talk to your father. And it's really interesting because we see the dynamic of, a girlfriend and a wife, ex-wife. And it just kind of gets this mixture going on. There's a lot of tension going on. And she's like, I don't want to have anything to do with it. I gotta go talk to your father. In the end, she talks to Travis. She's like, hey, Christopher needs you to listen to him. He's your son. It's all crazy from there. Now, the moment between Ophelia, I'm not sure. Between Ophelia and the military guy, I don't know if he's a sergeant or what. He's in the military though, and the moment between her and him, it's starting to make out or whatever. And it's interesting because at the beginning it seems like she's genuine. And then at the end of this little session, it seems like maybe she's just playing him for medicine, trying to, get him to do stuff for her since she's paying him favors, I guess. I'm trying to figure out what exactly that dynamic is. Is she really like in love with him or having feelings for him, or is that all just to get something from him? And that's kind of interesting from her because up to this point we haven't seen much of her. That's the only thing we've seen of her. So it's interesting to see how that dynamic is. And if anybody tells Mr. Salazar, or if he finds out, Ophelia's in some big doo-doo, because as far as I could tell, he's very protective of her, and if things like that are going on, I think she's gonna be in big trouble. We'll see though. At first, I found out that Nick didn't want to take the drugs that Maddie had stolen for him. And I thought maybe, just maybe, he was getting over these drugs. But then I thought, nah, it hasn't been that long. It's been maybe a couple days. I knew something was up. I didn't know what. But we finally find out he was, siphoning morphine off of these bodies that were, like, almost dead. And it's kind of sickening, really, to see that drug side of him. And he's just, like, so addicted that he'll steal it from people who need it way more than people who are in actual pain. So he's taking this morphine and it's like, wow, Nick, wow. I think the makers of this series are still kind of pointing out in a big way that people are not even close to like being used to death. In The Walking Dead, we know that Rick and all his friends, they can get used to death pretty quickly because they've already been around it so much. But these characters are fresh to the world of dead. Whenever anybody dies, it's a big deal. We're still kind of seeing Alicia get over Susan, who she had babysitter before, and things are just crazy in that world because we know that, Alicia is just trying to get over this, but if anything happens and all these people die, what are they going to do? Are they just going to overflow with emotions and not be able to function? Because there's so much going on, and I feel like there's going to be some sort of big attack or something is going to go on. People are going to die. I can feel it. Now, Mr. Salazar, obviously, it seems like has some problems with trust, and we get kind of a backstory into that. Like, people in his village were taken, and they were drowned, or, like, somehow just thrown out. And I don't know if that was the government who did that from his town, or if it was just these bad people. But anyway, he has problems with trusting people, and so he is, determined to go with his wife when they're about to take her off. And, he doesn't trust the government or the military. Honestly, I don't think I do either. Like, they seem really suspicious. When Maddie, kind of goes to town on Nick. Now, I think maybe he kind of deserved it for, stealing morphine off of bodies or off of people. I guess they're not bodies yet. They're gonna be, but not yet. I mean, I was pretty shocked by this. I didn't approve. I was like, wow, Maddie's really gone off the deep end. She loves her family, and she was just so angry at Nick. So she started, like, going to town on him, and I was like, yeah, Maddie, just stop. You're going to regret this later. And she obviously does. I was really surprised. I think Maddie is really starting to snap. She's trying to figure out what's going on. And she's just like, I can't deal with this anymore. And soon we're going to see kind of a full out, either she's going to close it down and stop freaking out, or things are going to go crazy with Maddie and she's going to get crazy. I think when times get tough, they're going to, get together. They're going to be strong. They're going to push through. I can see these families as being the ones that push through the apocalypse. There's so many families and characters involved in this story. I'm wondering either are they going to kill a bunch of people off, or are they just going to expect us to follow like 9 different narratives? Because it's getting really confusing when they skip between doctors and the military and the family and the other family, and then in the other family we have the Salazars, we have Maddie and her family, we have Travis's old family, and it's all intertwining, and it's like there's so many characters to keep track of. I know that like other stories also do this, but it's such a big cast, and if they don't get rid of somebody or they don't slack off on anybody, things are going to get really confusing. Now, at first when I kind of saw Alicia, giving herself that tattoo, I was a little bit worried that it was self-harm, because that's something that people can go through in very stressful times, and this is obviously a very stressful and depressing time for her. I was really interested. I know now that she was tattooing, or it looked like she was tattooing the mark of that, or she's just scarring herself. That could be. I didn't think about that. In the design that her boyfriend had drawn on her arm. And I don't know, it kind of gave me a sick feeling. I do not like the thought of self-harm. That is a terrible thing. It's something that our world has a big problem with. We need to really face it. And to see that in that scenario with her, who seems so strong, it's starting to kind of scare me a little bit. What's going to happen to Alicia? She needs to, she needs a better support system, and her parents are not giving that to her right now. Last but not least, we are going to talk about the military, because that is the main theme of this episode. The military really gave me kind of a bad vibe from the very beginning, when all the people were kind of complaining about what they were not hearing, things like that. And even though they were being annoying and things like that, the military did not have the right to joke about shooting people. They were like, if you don't listen, we're going to shoot you. Ha! That was not okay. If that's what he thinks a leader is, he needs to do a self-check, because things are not going to go his way if he starts treating people like that. He needs to cooperate, get people to cooperate in the right way, not that way. In a lot of ways, this military, whoever's in charge, that guy, he comes across as a real jerk. He doesn't care about the individuals at all. He's all about, I have orders, even if he does. I think he's trying to enjoy life, play golf, and think he's the boss. Honestly, I think he's found, entertainment in this power that he's found, and it's really ticking me off, Mr. Salazar's wife is supposed to go to some hospital, if that even exists, or if they're just gonna go kill her, I don't know. But she's supposed to go there, and Mr. Salazar is like, okay, I'm gonna go with her to the hospital. But it turns out that they only had 2 people's names on the list, and that was 1, Nick. Somehow they found out about the drugs, obviously because of the testing things. Are they just gonna go kill him because he's a threat because he's taking drugs? And then 2, Mr. Salazar's wife. But that's such a big deal because obviously they're not gonna let him go with her, and he's really ticked off about that. Things are getting crazy. The military has not accomplished much. All that I've seen that they've accomplished is to kind of create a safe area and then tick off everybody in that safe area. They've made everybody angry. They're taking people from their family. They're just not being nice in general. They're being jerks. They're threatening. They're not doing very well as far as negotiating with the people to make things happy. Obviously, happiness is not their job, but at the same time, isn't it? Aren't we all just trying to stay alive and be happy? Well, just because you can play golf doesn't mean you can't take care of everybody else. Go play golf in your spare time, but while you're working, try to be nice to people. And when Maddie sneaks out and the military is just going around, are they just shooting people left and right, whether they're alive or dead? I think that's what's happening, and it's kind of scary. I'm worried about what's gonna happen, about what all of this is. What all of this is. I'm not sure what it all is. And I think I'm starting to conclude that the military is not friend, it is foe. And that's going to be a big plot line, if that's true, in the coming rest of the episode. Thanks guys for watching this video. I really enjoy watching these Fear the Walking Dead episodes. If you do too, make sure to leave a like and comment about anything you think I might have missed or anything you think I could add next time. I'm really enjoying talking about these. I hope you guys are enjoying what I'm saying. If you disagree about anything that I said, make sure to leave it in a comment. Thanks for watching this video. See you later.